So these 5 following photos show the Optimus SeaStar steering systems that I installed, the parts and pieces. We're waiting on scheduling for ACI Boats out of Anchorage to come and do final hookup of cables and do a system checkout. We'll heat it up with the batteries and sit in the shop here and make the steering work, and proof that the steering and the Suzuki systems are all working together. So notice a nice wood steering wheel, nice little 14-inch. And the rest of this video is finishing out some electrical, placement of equipment, getting ready for Suzuki mounts, mounting the engines. Got my Optimus actuator cables installed. I just need to pull the feeds into through the hull opening. So I have all my electrical panel completed now, and of course the V-berth switches are in. They're all up here for all my lighting down here. And so the electrical panel, I don't have the main batteries hooked up yet. So everything, all my Optimus is in place, cabling. So everything is ran down. Just waiting for starting the batteries here in a day or so. So we got dinette. I got them on dimmers. And then my red night lights can be brought up and down dimming. Got my pedestal mounted for the dinette table. Well, obviously getting closer if I got the dinghy down in place. That's a 10-foot, 10-inch dinghy. Got my waterproof case for my emergency flares. You know, we're getting close. So, not much left on the table for install. My 3,000 watt inverter, my 120 volt to 12 volt charger for my batteries, my outboard motor hookup charging system. That's the Optimus steering. So I got to get in here and do a little augering. I placed the batteries down in the hole, got them to fit, and then of course when I started putting the motherboard in, I've realized I've added a little bit of hardware, aluminum, so I got to get in there with the Sawzall and cut a piece over in the corner. But the batteries are in. There's 3 sets of 2. They're down in the very bottom hole. So I got over there's a protector plate, but that's the hot water tank underneath. So we got some storage down here, and I put lighting, of course, in the storage area. This is underneath the galley. My potable water is underneath this cover. So there's a little room to kind of kneel down and work, but not a whole bunch, so I can get in here and get this done. Then that goes to the forward wall and bolts in place, and I run my main cables all to my new board there. So that's what I'm working on now. But you can see we've been putting a few items. I got my lights working, of course. We put cushions in. Working on the tabletop. It's going to be a nice showpiece. This is a couple photos of the main power board, the 400 amp switching and the main fuses. The batteries are in the boxes down to the left. So this board is forward underneath the main galley salon area, underneath the main helm. You can see the main panel right up above the photo there. So it's a short distance. I had to run inverter and charging system from the outboards. Also, the 120 volt AC charger will be placed there. So that's the main power center. Connected up the last of the Fireflies. So these are the house batteries. Start batteries up there. 4-aught cable. Got dielectric grease on all my fittings. We're putting the tops on. And I got foam in here to keep them from moving. We just put this extra strap on with a ABS plastic spacer to keep them condensed. The battery boxes are actually bolted to 1/4-inch aluminum plate, all 4 corners. But I just wanted to make sure that one extra safety measure was this strap. So we're at that point and getting finished up down in the holes. So my wife's gonna hand me my, I'm gonna hand me my battery box cover. And we're putting that on, and then I got a 2-inch aluminum bar that goes in over top of this stuff, these batteries, and then I get a deck plate that goes in here, which will make it a lot easier to manipulate on everything. So that's where we're at right now. So I got the holes drilled in for the outboards. We determined we needed to take 1 inch off of my rise for my motors. So Zach with Peninsula Sports came over and helped me to locate the heights. And with his assistance, I got the pattern for the holes. So ready to go there. I repainted, and I had to weld the top out because when I did cut it off, this added 3/4-inch plate that's in here had an unprotected seam that water would have migrated into, so I had to gouge them out, and that's actually welded. It's just wasn't filled all the way. So they're back and ready. I just have a little bit of today. I'm putting my inverter in. This is my 120 volt battery charger. It's a 60 amp Pro Mariner unit. And so that'll keep my batteries charged when I'm on shore power. This is my equalizer, my Pro charge, where the outboards will come into input 1, input 2. Once again, battery use 1, battery 2. I won't use all 3 or 4 of them, excuse me. I bought this in case I ever added another battery in the back or something for long-term sitting. I had the opportunity to use this. So that's what I'm working on today. That's the last pieces that have to go into the hole, and get that done, and I'm ready to turn power switches on. I got my 3,000 watt inverter. It's all wired in, number 10 3 conductor going up to the panel at the selector switch. And that's the Pro Mariner equalizer. So my outboards will be sending charging voltage to that unit, and then it splits it to the batteries, and then it picks up which one is my priority one, and then secondary, and it'll shift the voltage from one to the other to keep the charge up. And then got the main motherboard in, and over there that's the solar controller, solar panel controller, and that's the breakers for the charging system. So I tied my charging system from my equalizer into a breaker here and a breaker there, and then they feed to each bank of batteries. And then these are the 400 amp remote controlled power switches. So that's the one that the start battery comes in, and from the start batteries comes in and connects there, comes up. This is the one that would combine the house set of batteries here to the start batteries. So then they can charge all the time together, or separately they will charge. I can use each bank separately or combine all 6 batteries that are down underneath here. So now I'm going to put in the 120 volt 12 volt charger, so when we're on shore power it'll keep the batteries up. That's going to go on this wall here. I got to make a bracket for it. Well, I just loaded the anchor on. I got to get a tie-off rope to tie to a cleat in case somebody accidentally hits a release button. But I got 600 foot of 3/8 hybrid. It's a hybrid braid with an Amsteel core. So instead of 3/8 braid being rated at about 7,500 PSI or tensile strength, with that Amsteel core in it, it bumps it up to 13,000 tensile strength. So 600 foot of line, 90 foot of chain, 5/16, 33 pound anchor. I'm hoping I don't have to go to a bigger anchor, but we will see. So got that on, got to get some cleanup on here, take the paper off this hatch, but coming along. Just turned the batteries on for the first time, so they're working off all the auto switching. I have Guff Sherman with Sherman Signs, our local sign extraordinaire. He's coming over. We're making up the decals for the PaPaJ to sit up on the brow up here. He's also going to do my AK numbers and the stern decal also.